Hi everyone, this is Dr. Williams. I hope you are doing well. So today is a recap of the Bull session. The Bull session happens bi-weekly, Wednesday, 6 o'clock or 6:30 to there about 8 p.m. West and African time. But the thing is, I get to do a recap because I do not record the initial or the original session because it's a safe space. So you're welcome to Moments with Dr. Williams, and today we are going to be talking about career uncertainties and how to learn in the limbo. I realize that this is a very sensitive topic, so it's worth talking about again even after the session. I usually just share the slides I used, but I realized this one has to, I need to have a touch of my voice to it. So we're going to be talking about career planning or exploring. So do you have a plan or you're exploring? So we tend to have rigid plans. We have plans that have timelines exactly. By this time I will have Chevian scholarship. By this time I'm going to be here. You have timelines. They are very rigid. Many times when you also ask other people, how did you get here? They just say it just happened. So it's quite demotivating because you wanted to know about their plan. Also it makes you very tied to a box. It's more or less like ticking boxes, and you also get to hold yourself back and you put on the I should do this or I must do this kind of ideology. So it doesn't work that way. so yeah, basically that's it. That's what we talk about planning. But for exploring careers is like Dora the Explorer, and it is forward thinking. It's very powerful. It has multiple options. It's not just this option. I must have a scholarship in common by Commonwealth. I must be in the UK. I must go to Canada. It's also a 50-50 thing. It's very less rigid, and there are happy commitments that you put towards it, and you put on the I could do this kind of mindset, not I should or I must, but I could do this, I could try this, I could try that. So when we talk about career exploration, excuse me, we're talking about career exploration, we're going to be considering something. So one of the things you need to think about is my career must have. So what are in your career must haves? For me, one of my career must have is I must be able to create things. I must be able to work with people who are complementary to me. I want people that can challenge me, challenge my ideas, and say, Dr. Williams, why don't we do it in this way? Why don't you do it in this other way? So I've had people like that I work with. So my team is not just a yes or yes ma kind of thing. Another thing is you have to go hard because your career must have what really matters to you. Are you able to travel? Do you want flexibility? Do you want to be able to volunteer? Do you want to be able to shadow other people? So again, you have to move away from the shining thing. So when I give you a lollipop and you're like, yay, Dr. Williams, thank you so much. And then the happiness goes away after the lollipop or the ice cream. So the ice cream effect has to be discarded from this your consideration of exploring. So it doesn't have to be Instagram like office where you have everything happening, or if it's not the salary, I'm not budging. Get away from the shiny things and always have somebody that challenges these ideas that you want to explore. Have someone that you can speak to. Also, when you've written the list of these are the things I would like to explore as career options, what you need to do is the ones with the 2 to 3 that have the most energy. You then start becoming specific. How do I go about it? Who do I speak to about it? What am I going to talk about or ask about? And how, what kind of qualifications or skills or experience do I need, and how would I explore this option? So you need someone to talk to about the specificity of these 2 to 3 options. Another thing, that it is okay to be uncomfortable. It is okay to say, I did one day with Twin Taraki as a shadowing, and I realized, oh my god, no, I do not want to do this anymore. So it is okay to discard. It is okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to say, I liked this job I shadowed in, so maybe I'll consider it as something to do in the near future. So you have that on your list. Excuse me, you already have an idea. So yeah, basically that is what we talk about exploring. And planning. So move away from your planning and let's go more on exploring. So again, one of the things is you need to have this explore mindset, this mindset that I am always learning, I am ever learning, I'm a work in progress. So whatever you've written under your piece of paper as your career options, as your places that you're going to explore, maybe I would explore um having a side project or shadowing with the who office in my state, or maybe I would volunteer in one of these small organizations in my community. Who do you then talk to? Who do you know who can recommend you? Also, explore organizations, job roles, sector, think laterally and creatively. Also, think about where can I do a side project? What can I do? What are the things that I can do? So explore or share your career possibilities. This is possible. I think this is a possibility for me with trusted people. And when you're doing that, while you're exploring job roles, you're exploring sectors, like what would it be like to be in the health sector, or what would it be like to be in the finance part of health? So, for example, I work they say when you meet there's a job role in finance, and I'm like, well, I really want to be in public health. So, I would want to understand maybe the cost of nutrition, the cost of malnutrition in the finance sector, what's the impact it has, or cash transfer systems that we all talk about now. How does it relate to the economy? How does it relate to nutrition? Because that's my field. So that when I leave the finance department, when I'm talking to somebody that worked in finance, it will make sense. So have a thread of possibilities, move across disciplines and industries. And as you move across, I've worked in wash, I've worked in NGOs. I've worked in menstrual hygiene. I'm now working in a university. When I'm talking, it has a thread of making sense. Someone's like, okay, Wayne is going through this pathway because she's heading somewhere. And also have resources. What are you watching? What are you reading? And what are you listening to? So also have a professional community. What career books? What knowledge are you gaining? What podcast are you listening? What books are you reading to enhance your career possibilities, to enhance your growth, even not just your career, but holistically. So, and then the next thing we're going to talk about is have a vision. I love Dora the Explorer. So, have a vision, and my Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. So, having a vision, whether it's visual, whether it's physical, whether it's meant digitally, have a vision, a mental picture of who you want to be and what you want to be doing in the future when it comes to your career. I'm not talking about fairy tales. I'm not talking about Nollywood, Hollywood, big theories or big statements that this is it. No, I'm talking about your everyday work in progress. I'm talking about your day to day, not next month, not ticking boxes, what you are doing every day to move step by step, that mental picture of you. And remember that when you have a vision, it will help you to shape your action, and you'll be investing your work into meaning. So I have a mental picture that Oweyemi is going to be a thought leader in global health. So whatever I'm doing day by day, I am working towards that. I am progressing towards that with what I am exploring. Things that I'm doing, side project, volunteering, shadowing, what notes I'm doing to work myself. So, what ways can you actually do this? One of the ways that you can do that is by collecting pictures. Have Pinterest of your board, have a mood board or a vision board, not those fancy glammy one and you discard. A mental pictures, quotes. When you look at your gallery now of the serious things you pick, you will see that they have a thing, they have something connecting them all together. So, if you see my posts about pictures, they're talking about nutrition, women and children, food systems. Maybe they're talking about faith in Christ, values, mentorship. So they have a thread that they follow. So that way, one way you can actually create a vision is collect pictures, have a magazine of pictures, put them up in a board, take a picture of them, put them up in a blog post, talk about them to help you to have that mental picture of yourself. Have affirmation notes, have affirmation statements, have because they bring words into life, they bring words into action. So I could have a manifesto about what I want to be in the future, who I think I want to become, a manifesto of being a health leader, someone who helps younger people in STEM or in different areas of their life. And then also you could have school of cards where you have cards that talk to you about, like you have different cards that say, I'm great, I'm wonderful, I'm successful, I'm going through this journey, God is with me. It could be godly, it could be religious, it could be just random quotes that you use to get by because it affirms where you're going to, your mental career, your vision of your career, who you are, what you are, not just the glam, the shiny things and all, not just the dressing, not just, oh, I want to be dressing like this person. No, I want to be tying closure in realize. No, not that. We're talking about affirmations when you wake up with it. So school of cards, you can have box of cards that do that. I have those. I have things hung around my house that reminds me of who I want to be, what state I want to be. You could also draw, have that drawing session, especially those who do. You could draw, you could, have some doodling, some paintings, and then you could ask somebody to interpret for you, like a trusted person. It could be a stranger, could interpret, and whatever that person interprets, you could glean some insights to it and help you create a visual, a mental image of who you are, who you want to be in the future. And you could also do reflective writing, that is reflecting on yourself and say, okay, for 15 minutes, I am going to write out, oh, what am I going to, with my skills, this is what I will be doing. I'm my happiest when I share this. I am this when I'm that. So you have reflective writing. My journal actually also helps that growth mindset journal I produced around this time last year. It helps you to do mostly reflective writing. Keep a journal. And then there's also another one I learned recently, and it's about having, like, with friends, trusted friends, maybe your partner, and then you have like a card where you write, these are what I want to accomplish in the year. I want to have better communication skills. I want to talk to people. I want to, I want to be there for people. Whatever things that you think about, and you put it in the envelope, and that's for New Year. And then by the time, not a list, not a bullet point, just different random things. And then you do that in 31st of December, and you come up and you read it and you're like, have you achieved it? It calls for discussion, evaluation, reflection. How did you go? Did you miss your way, or did you navigate through it? So something like that can actually be of help in trying to create a vision for yourself. And what tools can you use? You need to tune into your values. So the question is, do you know your values? You could take a value test or a value exercise or a personality test. You could ask yourself thought-provoking questions whilst you think about your vision. My TED talk, we always say, welcome to my TED talk. So my TED talk, what would you do on it? I told someone recently that I would do a TED talk on the slums, the track to freedom, and she kind of asked why and how, and I gave her explanation because I know where I'm going through when I talk about slums. And how do I define success? So how do you define success? How you define success will determine the routes you're going to with your career. So 40 years from now, in an impact award night, what awards would they be giving you on what impact would you have made in your community, local community, global community? Many a times people think it's only when I travel abroad for masters that's when international people recognize me internationally. No, you can be in this our local Niger Delta. I'm from the Niger Delta. I'm from Delta State. You can be there inside one very small village, and the world will come and meet you there. The world will know you so long you know the techniques and the steps to be able to tell people what you're doing. So you could also be a collector of things that inspire you. I collect job descriptions on LinkedIn. I check out people's profiles on Instagram, on Twitter, things that they inspire me. One person that inspires me is Adora Lumina. I love her creativity. So I go and look, I listen, I watch, and I'm like, oh, I love this. But I don't stop there. So I say, okay, well, what can you implement? What can you take on? Again, take a closer look at what you're pitching, and you will find that there is a theme among these things, and you start realizing this is where I'm tilting more to. I was talking about comedies that we used to just destroy, so I'm talking about the serious things you pick out and have resources. You could want to have a goal setting template, you want to create a vision board, and so on, have a manifesto for yourself. So, yeah, that's are the techniques to create a vision as you explore your career. So there's this thing I learned recently which is called radical sabbaticals, and it's really interesting. I learned it from a girl who did 25 jobs under 25 before she became 25 years, and it was brilliant. So radical sabbaticals are like, okay, I'm working in this space, but this is not where I want to be, or I want to explore more while I'm still getting my small salary or my big salary, but I'm looking to transition or branch out. And you could say, oh, I could take 1 or 2 days leave or a week leave, and then challenge your limits and not your limiting your challenges. So you challenge your limits and say, okay, what would it be like if I shadow for 1 or 2 days or 1 week in this job? So I go on Twitter and I say, please, I maybe for example, I'm aspiring to be Director General of WHO, and I'm like, oh, is there anyone I would love to work with the person, technical advisor in so and so place, maybe not in a smaller organization. And somebody says, yeah, why me come and shadow or come and volunteer. What do I get from that? I get to know about the organization, the job role, how it is in the life of that person, the technical advisor, or the data analyst of this company, how their work is in a day or in a week. I could give feedback. Maybe you should use more tools. Maybe this, you should try this out. Maybe I could write a blog post on a review of what I think. I could showcase your products to customers. It doesn't have to be a paid one, but you are saying, oh, I worked with Tony Saraki and I loved it. Maybe in the future I would aspire to try this role, maybe apply for this role. But it's on my CV that I had this. And then maybe, for example, I worked with a UX designer or a researcher for a week. I shadowed, and then I have that on my CV. The person could give me a recommendation letter. I could be my referee. I could give feedback on what I found about the job. But already I've got that experience. Would I want to use it? Would I want to venture into that? Maybe, because I've tried it out. So those are what radical sabbaticals. So do not be desperate, especially when you're desperate. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Don't be desperate, but be inspired. Be inspired, and always document your journey as you go, and also document all that you need to do. So I've got a task for you as I end the session. You feel free to always come and meet me. That's all I have. This is it. So think about the components of your career today, wherever you are, what state, whether you're still in school or outside school, you're a mother, you're a father, your skills, your role, your theme, your job, your network outside your network, and think about what could happen. Again, putting on the I could mindset, what could happen in the next 12 months. Then think about how would you respond to it, and then write down 4 roles or organizations or opportunities that you find interesting. I always wrote that, oh, I wanted to know what it will feel like to be a research assistant. I'm doing that job now. I've always said, what would it feel like to be a research fellow? I aspire maybe. What will it be like to work as the head of an NGO? I have done something like that. So, things like that. What would it be like to be on the advisory board? So, for me, it's about roles that I think I could, because I'm always looking at jobs, roles I think that I could fit in. What strengths can I give? So identify someone who could help you explore them, or one person in your network today that could connect you to somebody. We all live, we are people, we have human connections, we live by connection, we grow by connection. So when you find those people, ask them for 30 minutes of their time politely. This is one on the spot kind of mentorship, or I really like your work, and over 30 minutes of your time, have your questions ready. Maybe I would put in up what questions could ask in a 30 minutes career conversation, and think about the reality of the role, the relevance of your strength, the requirements of your ongoing learning. What do I need to learn? What do I need to bring in? Stuff like that. And I hope this helps you. So I'm really wrapping up, and thank you for joining today's session. It's nice really talking and sharing about this. I remain Dr. Williams, the Squiggly Career Advocate. Moment by moment, people meet me at different moments of their life, and I'm always there by God's grace to offer support where needed and where I can do it. I can only do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if you've got questions or anything, or you want a one-to-one session, feel free